Next today, though, it's the true crime series, which got us all talking, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
It's got us all talking. I'm looking forward to talking about that.
You're going to be like the Kennedys. That's why it was so hard on us. But I suddenly saw how cruel it was. What was going on in that house. And it's never going to end. You can never escape from this. And I was always going to choose my brother over my parents.
Now, there's been big news overnight and a setback for one of the brothers' hopes of freedom. We have criminologist Professor David Wilson here. David, great to see you.
Lovely to see you, David. We love it when you're in as well, because we can literally be the viewer at home.
Yes.
Because you just give us everything we need. So let's recap the story, recap where we are and what's happening now.
Okay, so this is a story that begins on the 20th of August, 1989. So almost exactly 36 years ago, and a music executive called Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty Menendez were murdered in their Beverly Hills home. They were shot at point-blank range a number of times. So not just once or twice, but at point-blank range a number of times. At the time, their sons, Lyle, who in 1989 was 21, and Eric, who was 18 in 1989, they claimed that their parents were murdered as part of a hit. They implicated the mafia at one stage, and we actually have Lyle phoning 911 to report. We've got the recording of him reporting that his parents have just been murdered. Listen to this.
Yes, please. What's the problem? Sorry, Joe, they were shot? Yes. Who shot who? He came home and found who shot.
So now, quite clearly, he was lying throughout that 911 call.
But very believable.
Incredibly believable, but note that Lyle takes the initiative in making the call himself as opposed to Eric. Now, they initially, because they were so convincing to the Californian police, initially they weren't regarded as suspects. And so they go on this amazing shopping spree where they buy cars and watches and clothes. And it wasn't until March 1990, so the following year, that they are first arrested and charged with first-degree murder. And so that brings us to the court cases. And initially, there's nothing about this story that's simple. I'm so sorry.
No, I love it.
So initially, there was a court case in 1993, and that led to a hung jury. And then the case where they get sentenced, the trial when they get sentenced, is in 1995, when they're sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. But it would be useful just to look at the 1993 trial, which was covered by Court TV. So have a look at the brothers in their first trial.
Why did you kill your parents?
Because we were afraid. I told her to tell Dad to leave me alone. She told me to stop it. And that I was exaggerating.
Did you want something from your brother? Is that why you told him?
I wanted to stop him.
So right from the start, you've got these two competing narratives. You've got a narrative that says the brothers kill their parents because they want to inherit all the money. They want to go on this shopping spree. They're just rich, spoiled kids. That's the narrative of the prosecution. The narrative of the defense is that both Eric and Lyle have been sexually abused by Jose Menendez for a number of years. And as a consequence of the trauma and the fear that they had about being sexually abused, they're going to take revenge by killing their parents. Those are the two competing narratives. The first jury is hung. The second jury in 1995 convicts them of first-degree murder, and their sentence was life without the possibility of parole. Now, that gets us right bang up to date where you've been describing.
The Netflix doc that everyone watched, the acting, all of that, seeing that play out. And a bit like, it's like the Tiger King effect, isn't it? That Joe Exotic, you start getting people going, free Joe Exotic, all of this. This has been massive.
So it's a massive story because Court TV covers it. This is not working class kids that are committing crime. These are wealthy kids committing crime. So it's huge. And then, of course, we've got a reinterest in the series because of the documentary, which the Menendez brothers liked. But we also had Monster, the Ryan Murphy drama series on Netflix, which the Menendez brothers did not like because they had a Rashomon effect in that series. Sean, you know Rashomon effect, the Japanese technique for showing the narrative from multiple perspectives. And that presented Lyle in particular in a difficult way.
Well, quite manipulative and more aggressive maybe than he claims his character is.
And would fly off the handle. So, of course, that doesn't play into the fact that they were being sexually abused and that they should have sympathy. Now, what we've got up to now is that we've got a few developments. First, a particular development in relation to their case, and then a broader development in the state of California. The particular development in relation to their case is that they were resentenced, partly in reaction to the Netflix, the Netflix drama, the Netflix series, and because they've got a number of high-profile supporters, Kim Kardashian being one. And well, that meant that in May of this year, a judge in LA resentenced them to give them 50 years with the possibility of parole. So that's the first thing. They now got a new sentence that said that they can be considered for parole. And then you've got the state of California, which has been trying to change its parole system to look at the long-term prison population that says, if you committed your crimes when you were under the age of 26, you will become eligible for parole.
Right.
So it's because they committed the crimes when they were 21 and 18, they can now be looked at for parole because they were resentenced, which gave them the possibility of parole. And Eric was up for parole yesterday, and we now know that he's going to be turned down for parole, and you can see a photograph.
Do we know why?
Yes. So the particular parole board commissioner, Robert Barton, has been really clear about why he did not grant Eric Menendez parole because he did show remorse. As the Menendez family have been very supportive of them receiving parole, but he said it was because of his other crimes prior to the murder. He'd been convicted of burglary, and also because of his institutional behavior whilst he's been in jail, whereby he's been caught with smuggled mobile phones, and there have been other infractions against prison discipline. So Robert Barton, the parole board commissioner, said that he's not prepared to grant parole to Eric because it's still an unreasonable risk to members of the society should he be released.
So how long would he have to wait now again before he could be eligible?
So 3 years is the normal time, but of course it can be that you can apply to get considered earlier. And indeed, the Menendez family have been really supportive of that happening. And one of their cousins, who's called Anna Marie, has given her view about what happened yesterday in terms of Eric being turned down for parole. So have a listen to what one of their cousins says.
It is still very, very disappointing. Nonetheless, our family is still very behind him. This isn't over. I'm so proud of Eric, and he's just amazing. And we gotta wake up tomorrow and do this all over again for Lyle. So wish us luck. It's not over.
Well, we're going into Lyle now, aren't we?
So Lyle will be heard today, as it were, in the United States. Now, Lyle was the older brother. Lyle seems to be the one that has taken the lead in the commission of the crime. So should we expect Lyle to be released or not to be released? I would have thought the judgment would be that he probably isn't going to get parole. But remember, he can still plead. They are pleading clemency. They're asking the governor of the state of California, who's Gavin Newsom, who's a presidential candidate for the Democrats in the next few years. They can ask for clemency. But does that make Newsom vulnerable if he was to grant clemency because he would be seen as being soft on crime?
So this is actually now getting political. Even if he has his own beliefs, it might be that he doesn't want to look weak.
And you have to remember, Sean Ryland, that Trump sent in the National Guard to Los Angeles because he says Los Angeles was out of control.
Lawless.
And of course, therefore, law and order, criminal justice becomes a national political issue, albeit we're on this particular case, the Menendez brothers.
David, I think this is going to rumble on for a while. I really do. Thank you. You're just so great.
So
with
good
this. Like, you just make it so easy for everyone. So lovely to see you, David.
Lovely to
so,
see you,
so much. Right after the break, stop worrying about this. Thank you. Your beauty regime and start looking like a pig Spice Girl. Nadine is going to have all the info. That's after this.